So, Kevin, you told me about maybe 30 minutes ago that we need to record an extra.
Yes.
You mentioned CM Punk, so
Yep.
it's something to relate to CM Punk. But then you said you have a direction, an avenue you want to take this. Where? What? What's happening?
Pal, I'm confronting you right here, right now, on this Zoom call. Face to face, man to man, pal. Alright, so, to recap for you, this has been a banner year for you and bad takes. 2023 has. We did banner years for wrestlers last week. Now we're doing banner years of bad wrestling takes for Jimmy, pal. So you would agree, right, that your worst take of all was saying that John Cena versus Austin Theory should main event night 1 of WrestleMania 39, right?
Yes, I'd say that's as bad as my Daniel Bryan should retire take. I think that's age as bad as that one, as my all-time bad take. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then your next bad take was when we did our top 50 wrestlers of all time. You had Vince McMahon, number 29, and then you had Kevin Nash, number 25. And Kevin Nash is notable for several reasons. You had Kevin Nash over CM Punk all time, which a lot of people disagreed with. But a lot of people also just disagreed with the placement of Kevin Nash. Like, most people are like, yeah, he's top 50, but he's more like 40-ish around there. I think I had him like 36 or something. But to have Vincent Kennedy McMahon as a top 30 wrestler of all time,
Yep. Yep.
not a great take in the eyes of a lot of our listeners. So there you have that one. And then you had the Elimination Chamber, our infamous Elimination Chamber post-show live stream after the big show in Montreal, where you were screaming at the top of your lungs about how the story was great, Roman deserved to keep the belt. When I was saying what you're now saying, you've been now saying this, what I've said in that review, you've now been saying it since April. And you've been saying it for the last 8 months that there's too much interference in Roman Reigns matches. And I was saying that at the Elimination Chamber live stream, and I was just chastised by you and our great listeners and the people in the chat. So you've done a complete 180 on your stance with Roman Reigns. So yeah, your Roman Reigns take from Elimination Chamber, Vince McMahon and Kevin Nash being top 30 all time, and Austin Theory and Cena main eventing WrestleMania Night 1. Those are your bad takes, pal. Now, I recapped all that to say this. I think I think you've outdone yourself, pal, with this last take that I'm going to bring up.
Uh-huh.
In a podcast of ours from a few weeks ago, maybe even months ago, it was like around the time when Pepsi Phil got fired from AEW with cause by Tony Khan.
Before you go, if you're going where I think you're going with this, I mean, I'll get to my counter. But anyway, go ahead. Explain. Finish your point.
Yeah, so you came on here and we were talking about CM Punk possibly going back to WWE after getting fired from AEW, and you said that you did not want to see CM Punk in WWE. You said that he was past his prime. He's a cancer to the locker room. He brings negativity everywhere he goes. WWE is a well-oiled machine and does not need him. And you said to those who want to see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, the list goes on and on. To those that want to see those matches, to quote, play it in 2K. Now, based on what we've seen transpire here so far, with WWE doing what AEW failed to do, and that's using real-life tension between Rollins and Punk and creating a storyline out of that and making a ton of money from it, I would say that CM Punk's return right now, as of a few weeks in, is going about as great as anybody could have possibly expected. And I would say that you're pretty happy. It seems like you're pretty happy to see CM Punk back, So I think that take may have overtaken all your other bad takes, pal. I don't know. I'm just saying. So do you stand by it? Do you think that people should still play it in 2K, pal?
Kevin, you can't come at me for that take until we're at least 6 months into the run.
Right.
At least.
Okay.
I made that take basically saying with CM Punk, the honeymoon phase is always great, as it is right now. Right now, this is way better than AEW's was, might I say. I think that's a common bit of knowledge. But after 6 months, once Paul Levesque sits down with Phil Brooks and Kobe Lopez in the room in February 2024 and goes, Phil, you're going to job to Seth Rollins in WrestleMania. And Punk's like, what? He's held the title 11 months and done barely anything with it. Huh? I should win. And that creates some friction, some tension. Once it's those sort of things. Once the badge of Phil starts getting tweaked at, that's when I think it's going to be really testing this, okay? Because right now, Kevin, 100% agree. this is great stuff. Having Seth Rollins come out there after CM Punk signs with Raw Pal, and CM Punk's like, you left and chastised this place, and now all of a sudden you're the all-conquering hero who we're all supposed to love. Hypocrite much? Like who do you think you are? And Punk is probably standing there hearing this thinking, I mean, it's right, F this guy. I don't want to really, I'll work with him, but don't like him. And then that tension bubbles away, which is what makes a great storyline. But can Phil Brooks in his mid-40s, after everything that's gone down, can he deal with that for 1, 2, 3 years? It's what, a 3-year deal, Kevin?
Yeah.
And what I'll double down on saying, obviously WrestleMania 40 is going to be great. Punk and Rollins will be the main event. Should be of night 2. That's the match with all the hate in the company. It just is. Kevin, I'll ask this. I'll pose this. This is my take. Does CM Punk make it to WrestleMania 41?
Yeah, I think so. I think he does.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't think so?
I'd be surprised. That's my stance. I'd be surprised if CM Punk makes it to WrestleMania 41, or if he does, he's burnt out or annoyed and frustrated behind the scenes because of a number of different ticks off, creatively backstage. That's my sort of opinion, because right now it's December 2023. If we get to April 2025, so basically 18 months down the line, and Punk's still legitimately happy, legitimately ticking along, he's a great team player for WWE, I'd happily be proven wrong there. I'd happily have you jump on my throat saying, that's your worst take. That was a holy L, Jimmy. But for now, honeymoon phase, it's awesome. We'll see how WrestleMania goes. We'll see how the fallout goes. We'll see how Punk reacts when Paul Levesque tells him, Rollins is going to pin you clean. And Punk storms out of the meeting and spits at Kobe Lopez. We'll see how it goes. Then we'll see what happens if he makes it to WrestleMania 41. I don't know. That's just my stance, pal. And for the moment, I stand by, played in 2K as good as it's been so far.
Here's my counter to the honeymoon phase point that you brought up. So in AEW, what ended the honeymoon phase, the quote honeymoon phase, was Hangman Page going off the script and throwing real life insults at CM Punk. Follow that up with all these dirt sheet reports about Punk getting people fired and whatnot. And, in that moment when Hangman Page is going off the script and burying him, like for real, CM Punk, Phil Brooks probably thinking, oh, this place is poorly managed. Oh, this is not good, So, and I bring that up to say, in WWE, CM Punk and Seth Rollins have already been in the same room together with Triple H and Nick Khan, and they're like, look, you guys going to go over everything you're going to do, everything you're going to say, you're going to agree, you're going to shake hands, you're going to stay on the script. So I think Punk is going into this knowing what he's getting himself into. Knowing that he's going to take shots at Rollins is going to come back and fire back, but they're both agreeing with everything that they're saying. And we don't even really know how much these guys really dislike each other. How long were they in the same locker room for? Like a year? Like late 2012 to late 2013?
Like 15 months.
Yeah.
A bit over a year, yeah.
Yeah, so how much could they really hate each other? You know what I mean? In that time frame. That's one thing that I've been kind of wondering, not always, but I've been kind of wondering throughout this, like, how much of was that Rollins cancer comment just like Rollins being a showman? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And same with Roman too. Like, Punk's been gone. Punk has not been in WWE for forever. He wasn't there when Rollins and Reigns were running wild, main eventing, Fastlane 2019, pal. So, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I think that's gonna be the main difference here with this WWE run. It's just everything's gonna be professional and everybody's gonna know what's going down beforehand. And there's possibilities that Punk will be frustrated, I'm sure, but I think at this stage, I would be surprised if like Triple H telling him, "Hey, you're losing to Seth Rollins." I don't know. Like, I'd be surprised if that's what like sets the time bomb off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and to kind of wrap this portion of it up, I will say, once again, I'll repeat this, I want Punk to be here 3 years. It's great for our show, like in that regard. The amount of content this can provide, especially because I made the blistering take about playing it in 2K. Now, we have like endless Punk content, pal. So you can thank JTE for that. But nonetheless, yeah, see where it goes. I want every segment to be good. I want it to be 3 years of juicy storylines, blistering content. It's just based on Punk's track record in the last 10 years. I have genuine questions whether Phil Brooks in his mid-40s is made for the cut and thrust of pro wrestling anymore. When he's not trying to make a career out of it, when he's already got the bag, he's got his big mansion in Chicago, he's got his life set up. If some petty pro wrestling backstage stuff, yes, Triple H is running, yes, Nick Khan's there, but if a wrestler makes a passing comment in the locker room and Punk gets peeved off by that and hits someone, is Punk made for that? Like nowadays, in his mid-40s, I don't think he has the patience for it. So happy to be proved wrong. I think a bunch of stuff will happen in 2024 behind the scenes with it. I know it's not AEW. You're not going to have EVPs and executives bashing down his door trying to whack him. I know that's not going to happen. But at the same time, I still have questions. So happy to be proved wrong, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't think there's any man-children in position of power within WWE, at least from a backstage standpoint. So that's also part of the equation that's missing here.
Man-children.
And with transitioning with that, now we can take this portion here to dunk on AEW and Tony Khan for a moment.
Hey!
I mentioned it in passing early on in the opening of my monologue. WWE is doing what AEW failed to do. AEW had their biggest money match, their biggest pay-per-view gate, their biggest pay-per-view buy rate, their biggest merchandise mover. They had that sitting right in front of them in CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, with the whole storyline of like the real life beef, and maybe they could have had the Young Bucks as like authority figures or something, making Punk's life hell. They could have done a million different things with that to get the Punk versus Omega at All Out in Chicago, whatever you want to do, All Out 2023, All Out 2024, Revolution 2024, whatever pay-per-view they wanted to do. That big money match was staring them in the face, and Tony Khan just didn't want it. AEW didn't want it. The Young Bucks, the Elite, the EVPs, they didn't want it. Punk apparently wanted to meet with them and do business and shake hands and make money. So that's it's an embarrassment. Now you've got Punk on the other side on WWE TV talking about how in WWE you can't punch people in the face in the locker room. Like that's gonna be one of those clips that when WWE is producing the rise and fall of AEW as a Peacock exclusive documentary, that's gonna be in the opening graphic, the opening edit of the documentary. You're gonna see you'll see Jericho with the what's it called, the margarita bath, mimosa bath. Yes, you see Jericho taking a mimosa bath. You see Matt Hardy getting a legitimate concussion on pay-per-view.
Oh, that was awful. That was so genuinely bad. Carry on.
Yeah, and then you're gonna see the clip of CM Punk saying, "You can't punch people here in this locker room." Like that's just one of those absolutely, utterly embarrassing moments. And another one that's gonna be in that documentary is the clip of Cody and Punk for the first time on a WWE screen. It's just, yeah. Go ahead,
Kevin. I can imagine like Vice, like the Vice documentary music, like the intro music, like really cold-blooded, really it's like calculated, sort of sinister music. They show the clip of Punk saying that, showing Matt Hardy's head smashing off the concrete floor, and then the AEW doctors and medical team saying, "Finish the match." That means nothing. Go and work. Wrestle Sammy G for 5 more minutes, as you can't pass a concussion test. All of that stuff, pal. And according to the AEW fan base, I was legitimately in the wrong for calling that out. It all out. Anyway, that's 3 years ago now. Nonetheless, Kevin, there's so much content from this. As you say, AEW is the gift that keeps on giving. This, once again, with AEW refusing to do business with Phil, and what you said there would have been the match in AEW's history. That would have been bigger than Cody versus Dustin Rhodes. That would have been bigger than MJF and Cody, MJF and Punk even. Punk versus Omega with something with the Young Bucks as authority figures and Punk taking down the whole lead himself or something like that. That would have been AEW's identity, Kevin. Instead, AEW's identity is Nick Wayne's mother marching down to the ring like she's Stone Cold Steve Austin to interrupt Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage on a throwaway Dynamite match, pal.
Yeah, Tony Khan is allergic to money, pal. He's allergic to the sweet, sweet money. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Just that whole thing, that whole narrative, right? That, how could you not want to do business? And then you had Daniel Bryan say, "Oh, you do the right thing. Doesn't always make you the most money. It's not always the smartest decision." But when you're running a wrestling company, the objective here is to make money.
I know.
So what? Do, Punk and Bryan Danielson not like each other now? I thought they were always good buddies. I'm so fascinated by CM Punk and his AEW run. I would love to see a documentary about the backstage environment, what it was like with Punk there. That just feels like money to me.
Yeah, just like remove any of the NDA clauses, remove any of the legal things that usually handcuff and put red tape over things. You just want a raw, honest, brutal backstage documentary of CM Punk. I want to see footage from 2022 of Punk storming backstage after Hangman Page has cut this promo, trying to confront someone, and the Elite already having left in their car and won't be available till Dynamite next week. And Punk hasn't been rostered to bet. I want to see all the dramas. I want to see all the backstage. I want to see Punk confronting Tony Khan multiple times, being like, "Let me sit down in the room with those bitches," allegedly. Like, I want to see all that stuff. That's the stuff I want to see. That would make great, blistering documentary content. Instead, pal, Punk's on Raw, having Kobe Lopez 10 months into a world title reign, calling him out, pal, saying, "Yep, we don't, like the brothers and the sisters back there, you're not one of them, pal. Even though half of them love you and grew up idolizing you, they don't like you, pal." Storyline. It's going to be blistering, pal.
Love it. I love it, pal. Well, are we done here, pal?
I'd say so, pal. Unless you want to discuss Zion Williamson being called fat by Stephen A. Smith, pal. Unless you want to go there, I think we're all done, pal.
Yeah, I think we're done, pal. All right. Well, this has been fun. We'll talk to you guys on the next one. Peace.